Yo, number one show of late. Now, you know what it is. Nothing but illustrious guests. And tonight we are honored to have who in the building, Mero?
The illustrious number 43, Bubba Wallace in the house, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right, Bubba
What's
Wallace.
up, fellas? How's it going?
It's good. What's going on, Wallace? It's great to have you here. You've been driving since you were 9, correct?
Yep. 26 now. Yes, sir.
How did you even get into that?
From a friend. You got to know somebody it's kind of like underground music. You got to like know somebody that knows somebody that has a go-kart.
Someone put you onto it.
Yeah. So my dad actually bought a Harley Davidson, and the guy who we ended up getting lucky meeting the guy who owned a custom bike shop. He raced go-karts out of the back. We became really good family friends. Even to this day, I still go racing with him throughout the summer with him. But he invited us out to come watch him, and it was something that my dad and I really enjoyed. And he was like, "Hey, what do you think? You want to give it a shot?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and do it." So the next weekend we went out and bought a go-kart. The rest is history.
Indeed. Wow.
All right. So I see that you have the Richard Petty Motorsports tee on.
Yep.
That's your team. That's your squad.
Right.
And honestly, like, I don't know nothing about NASCAR, but I know Richard Petty.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's like the Michael Jordan of racing. Yep. So, like, how does that feel to get that torch passed down to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because other people have driven the car, but like, I think it was like 2018, you became like the official full-time driver of that car.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And to see how, like you just said, you don't know a thing about NASCAR, which is totally fine. Get you to come out to a race, understand it more, get you to represent, you know.
Definitely.
Then you'll fall in love with it. But being around him at appearances, we've had some like sponsorship team dinners at like restaurants and bars and stuff. And so we'd have to walk through the bar scene, and it's people our ages from 25 to 35, whatever it may be. Yeah. And they're all just like turn their heads, and their eyes are super big. They don't know one thing about NASCAR, but they're like, "That's the king." Yeah. And basically I'm his PR handler. I'm sitting here taking the pictures and everything. And I'm like, "Hey guys, I actually drive the car, but yes, that is the king." So seeing how he interacts and seeing how he has that impact on everybody is super cool. So I sit there and think of one day of hopefully having that legacy. You know, there's a lot of hard work left on the table to be done, but yeah, nothing's impossible.
And you have a Richard Petty tattoo, correct?
I do. It's on the back of my leg, so it'd be a lot to show it off.
Yeah. Just confirming. Just confirming right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's like, I'm not gonna tell you where it is, but I got one. All right. But I honestly, I misspoke earlier. I said I did not know anything about NASCAR, but I want to put you onto something that you may not know about. Okay. Back in the day, NASCAR jackets were like all the rage in the hood. Like we all had. Yo, it was fashion, and I was just like, I didn't know what drivers I was wearing, and we all called them. I was like, yo, I got the M&M's joint, I got the Home Depot joint, I got the DuPont. You know what I mean? Like everybody, like Jeff Gordon was the guy back then. So it was just like,
Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Elliott Sadler at that time. So
the Home Depot
so
one.
It's like the rarest.
The
Snap-on. Like the rarer it is. You know what I mean? Like the more, like, oh, yeah.
And everybody's trying to bring those back nowadays, and it's so funny. Especially the African American community. I love it. They're like, "Hey, yo, where's the jackets at? Where's the jackets at?" So we got to get something made.
But I remember after what was it? It was the Maximum Pain Relief race you did for NASCAR. Everyone, we were all on Twitter, and everyone had the same thing. It was like, "Where's the merch?" Where I was ready. I wanted my Bubba NASCAR jacket right then and there. So NASCAR, you were dropping the ball. We want to be in the club dressed like this guy, repping the colors.
It's wild too, because I went to go look, because I called my mom. I was like, "Yo, I want to wear one for the interview," and she was like, "They're in storage." Me, like, you wore those like years ago. Like, I was like, "Oh man, I can't move around." So then I started looking online, and yours pops up immediately. It's like the Black Lives Matter joint, like, and I was like, "Woo, this is hard." I was like, "I need like 2 of these."
Yeah. So it's pretty special, and on my side of merch stuff, we've had those conversations of making some personal ones, but there's so much that goes into that as far as legal battles, you know,
and licensing,
and it's just like licensing, all that stuff, and it's just
listen. We learned the hard way. We learned the hard way, so we know what it is. It's not. You can't just throw your name on a T-shirt. You got to go through 50 lawyers.
Yeah. So we're trying to pump out as much merch as we can at the time. It's a small team doing our stuff, and we've done, if you can honestly believe it, we've done exceptionally well these last couple weeks, last couple months, and so everything's like on back order. We order them. We order it like over way enough, and it goes out in a day. And it's like, all right, well, we need to do the same stuff again. So it's like a repeating process. Listen, but I appreciate the support.
Because you're hot right now. It's like you went from just being a regular, you went from being just a regular race car driver to now you are like the face of a movement, and just not just a movement in NASCAR, but like a movement in the generation and the Black Lives Matter thing. How does it feel? Like, how do you reconcile that? Because on one level, it's like that's kind of dope. You're like, yo, I am the face of the movement. But at the same time, it's like other drivers just show up and drive. They don't have to have this heavy burden on their back. They don't have TMZ watching them. They don't have the president tweeting about that. How do you find a balance between those two?
If I knew the answer, I would let you know. But it's a process that I'm learning each and every day of how to deal with it all. And yeah, it's been chaos. It's been madness. But for us, for me, it's just trying to spend time with family, tune into my music, let that be my escape. Try to get some gaming here. This is my gaming setup, my game room here. So
what are you playing?
I'm on Call of Duty right now.
Warzone?
One game.
Warzone?
Yeah, a little Warzone. Yeah. We'll have to get on there and get some dubs together.
There we go.
Let's get it.
Yeah. But just trying to stay off social media is probably the biggest thing.
Right.
And this week's actually been okay. Knock on wood. No real crazy drama. But for a while now, obviously being the only African American at the top level, you've always kind of had that pressure, and that was always kind of the topic of the headline in a conversation. So it was always there, but now it's just magnified times 1,000. And so it's just like, okay, you got to roll up the sleeves a little bit, but it's all right.
Got you.
But it's got to be a dope feeling though to get like the community behind you and inspire like young Black kids to be like, yo, this is something I could do, because it seemed like something that was very inaccessible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, to kids in the hood.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like, it's a very sport to be introduced, a very tough sport to be introduced to. And like I said, you got to know somebody that knows somebody. And there's a racetrack. If there's a racetrack close to you, there could be a racetrack 15 minutes from you guys, but you just have to know somebody. Like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So we have to put it on your radar. We have to do a better job as a sanctioning body to preach the gospel about NASCAR and say, hey, there's local short tracks out there that you can go and sit in the stands and watch and maybe eventually get hooked like I did. And next thing you know, you'll be driving up against me one day on Sundays.
Hey.
Hey.
So listen, we as New Yorkers and East Coast people, we have no NASCAR experience. Only thing I know is Daytona 500 from some video game. But a lot of people, when they think of NASCAR, they automatically think of the Confederate flag, because we always see the images. We see all that. We see they banned it, and then people responded by like flying it on a plane over the track when you were racing and stuff. How is that ban working out? Are people following the rules that NASCAR set up, or people still getting it in? Is it changed the complexity of the race?
Well, there's been no fans allowed.
That's true.
And thinking about how crazy our sport is, our events were 3 to 4 days long. People were there camping out for weeks, waiting for our race to show up. And when we finally get there's thousands and thousands of motorhomes and people attending the race. And it's really cool to see. So it's really a ghost town when you show up to these racetracks and there's no fans. So I know at Talladega, we had some fans in the stands. I don't know the exact number, but it was all good. They had the peaceful protesting going on outside the tracks with Confederate flags, and then the guy flying the plane over before the race and stuff. But other than that, we haven't had any fans back, especially the ones like people that were flying them had like motorhomes inside the racetracks. We're not there as a sport yet. Nobody is as a sport to allow fans back in to see that. So once we do get back to normal, it'll be interesting to see how it's all implemented and kept in place. But I'm excited to see the demographic change in NASCAR, just because of everything that's going on. And I feel good about it. So it's cool to kind of be leading the forefront on that.
Yeah, man, because it's like one of those sports that's kind of like stereotyped and like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just kind of like this insular thing where it's just like, oh, no outsiders. But like, it would serve NASCAR really well to like open up the doors and like get more people in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for I've been reading. Obviously, I've been reading everything that's coming through social media about me, and that's one thing I don't need to do because it pisses me off. And then other parts make me feel good and motivates me. But we always want to pay attention to the negative. But the narrative that's been out there now is saying like all NASCAR fans are racist, and and whatnot, and that's totally not true. You know, I've gone down in the fans in the infields at Talladega, wherever it's at Daytona, Texas, Michigan, and I never knew if people were flying the Confederate flag. We would go down there and drink beer, have a good time, and hang out. So it wasn't like they don't want you there. It just I could see from an outsider looking in how that would look, but it's something that, you know, it offended a lot of people when I brought it up. Let's get rid of the Confederate flag, because to a lot of people that was heritage. Well, to the people we're trying to attract and change up the face of the sport and allow it to be more diverse, why isn't there more sponsors in? Maybe because of the Confederate flag. Let's just get rid of it at NASCAR races. I'm not saying you have to get rid of it in your daily life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can wear that proudly at home, but just when you come to a NASCAR race, let's show that we're all welcoming. You may not carry any hate in your heart, and that's totally fine. I know not every person is bad. Not every NASCAR fan is bad. But we have to show that, hey, you know, we want other people to be a part of our sport as well. Definitely.
Because we can relate, because we are, you know, like sometimes we get in trouble because we wear a hateful symbol ourselves. It's the Knicks logo, and we really need Bubba, what is you drive for a living. What do you drive when you're not on the race car track? Like, what's your regular whip?
Yeah, I've actually just gotten a brand new Harley Davidson about a couple months ago. So I've been cruising around on that when the weather's nice. It's actually getting really hot, but we're gonna go take it up to the racetrack tomorrow. We got the All-Star race in Bristol, so I'm excited about that. Get a little riding time through the mountains. Get the girlfriend on the back so she can enjoy it. But I got a Chevy Tahoe, or Chevy Silverado sitting out front that I drive as a team car, and proud to be a part of Team Chevy. And they always build the baddest whips out there, so I can't complain.
Hey, shout to Chevy.
Hey, the classic Impala, dog. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right? I need to get one of those. put some suspension on it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, speaking of like NASCAR, it's like it's about sponsors. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got tags and everything, and like, you know, some sponsors give you pushback, some sponsors don't. We're all here members of Cash App Gang.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, right.
How did they support you in that in your like journey?
Yeah.
You know
So this was new news to me, that, you know, proud to be a part of the Cash App family, and I appreciate their support. But yeah, I told my team, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs throughout the sport, and that's what the sport is. Basically, life is full of ups and downs. You know, everybody can agree on that, and you always learn from your downs. But going into a new race team, I've always told people, hey, I've always been a part of the sponsorship talks. Hey, we're really close. Hey, we're talking to this person. And then it always seemed at the end of the day that it never would come to fruition. It just, you never would hear anything else. So I was always let down and pissed off and frustrated, thinking like, what did I do wrong? Did I say something wrong? Just never knew. So going into, 2018, when I was a part of RPM, I told them, hey, I don't care what y'all are working on. I don't want to know who it is at the start. I just want to know when they're going to be on the car and that it's a done deal. And so I found out yesterday that, hey, I need you to come up to the shop and film some stuff for Cash App, because they're going to be in our car for 5 races. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. So that's pretty dope to be partnered up with that. But they're helping out in a huge way for us to sell sponsorship for our race car, to help us compete and be competitive. So and this sport is really about money. And if the more money you have, the better you run. So if you have a good financial backing behind you with the race team, then we put some good races together. So I'm excited to have them on our car for Texas, actually coming up this Sunday. So it'll be good.
So what's a workout routine like for a NASCAR driver? Like, you lifting the heavy weights, you getting your LeBron on?
No, I wish. I used to do 2 a days, like back in high school. But then at that time, I still never even was a fan of working out. I just did it because I needed to stay in shape. And throughout those years, I always kind of kept a tone fit. It's kind of gone down from there. I haven't been able to I've had enough excuses to not work out. That's how I am.
True. You kind of got a lot going on.
Yeah. Or a nap sounds better than going to lift some weights. But I got a gym outside that I use. My girlfriend uses it more than I do. But I always got my workouts from driving the car. We're in the car for 3.5, 4 hours, and it's a lot of upper body strength. So, in the previous years, I would work out a couple times a year, but would always feel like I was in great shape. And you would always kind of feel a little sluggish at the start of the season. simply because you had the off season of where you weren't driving. But by race 4 or 5, you were feeling good, back in shape, because you're getting the muscle memory back, you're getting the reps back in. So that was always helpful. So throughout the quarantine this year, first race back in quarantine, definitely was out of shape. But I did hit the gym prior. I didn't hit it hard enough.
There you go. At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
Yeah, keep it
Right.
I thought I went hard in the gym too, and then I got after that race, I was like, all right, that was an eye opener for me.
Right. Gotta hit you with the wild, controversial question. Didn't tell your manager about this. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Might ruin your career right here. What is your stance on the Dale Earnhardt Jr. mayo and banana sandwich?
The mayo sandwich. So, what does he think? He's what? Mayo and bananas?
Mayo.
Yeah, mayo and bananas.
Yeah.
So disgusting, because I hate mayonnaise and I hate bananas. But I used to eat mayonnaise sandwiches when I was a kid. How about that?
Okay. All right.
Listen, me too. Listen.
Just put it on there and I'll eat it.
Yo, necessity is the mother of invention, bro. Like, mayonnaise sandwiches, ketchup sandwiches, honey sandwiches.
You got me beat on that one. I haven't tried those, but yeah. But now can't even touch mayonnaise or bananas. Nope.
No mayonnaise whatsoever.
No.
No potato salad.
No. Ew. Absolutely not.
Oh.
Nah.
Oh man.
I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, and that's it.
All right. What's your favorite meal? What's the meal you want to eat after a big race?
Oh, that's tough. I'm a junk food guy. I love like snacking on like fruit roll-ups and gushers and stuff. But hey, McDonald's is a proud partner of me, so I'm always trying to find a McDonald's that's on the way to the airport to get back on the bird to go home. Okay. So count me in for that. You
just pull into the drive-thru in the number 43.
Yeah. Hey, I want the number 43 when I pull up through, and they'll be like, "All right, I got you." But yeah, that's me all day.
All right. The president tweeted about you. How did you find out about that? Or you just like scrolling the timeline and it's just like bing, and you saw the mention?
I was, yeah. I just happened to refresh my page, and it was like, I thought it was like a parody account,
Right.
Some people put those one letter in the middle of somebody's name, and it's like,
real Donald Trump underscore or something like that.
Yeah. It's like, and then I was like, oh no, this is really him. All right, what a bogus tweet.
Right. That was back in the day. It used to be like, oh wow, the president tweeted about me, and it's usually some gushing endorsement or shout out to like. Now he's just like some regular person on Twitter, just trying to fight people,
just trolling.
Trolling. That's all it is. So I've always said, or I said recently because of it, I had to take the high road of the highest person in office. How does that work out?
That's wild.
Welcome to 2020.
2020 on tonight.
Welcome to 2020, where you have to be more presidential than the president.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
We are. It's wow. Give us a quick hint about driving. Give us something we could use in our day-to-day life. How do we drift? How do we do like something for Fast and Furious? I don't know.
We don't. If we're drifting, that's a bad day for us. We don't want to do that. We want to be glued to the racetrack. My advice is, don't waste time. You guys live in New York. Y'all even have y'all's driver's license?
Yeah, we have our driver.
I live in Jersey now. Yeah. I live in Jersey now, so I hit the highway and I'm trying to rip it in the left lane. You know what I'm
listen, I'm in the back of every Uber, so you tell me what to tell my driver.
Don't waste time in traffic. Like, if you're pulling up to a stoplight, I've gotten on my girlfriend about this a lot. So you're sitting at a stoplight. One lane has 6 cars in it. The other lane has 1 car in it. She'll stay behind the lane that has 6 cars. And it's like, no, get your ass over there in the other lane. Like, what are we doing?
There we go.
Or I'm the type of guy that I don't like cutting people off, but we like to see if we can catch somebody sleeping here. So if, say, you're in dead stop traffic and like the lane is starting to merge over, ride in that lane or ride really slow, and you'll see like an 18-wheeler that can't take off at the same time. It's like, all right, bet, I'm in.
I'm jumping right in front of you.
Yes. But if they're like nose to tail, then cutting somebody off. All right, now I might get out and give you the finger because I wasn't giving you that spot. But hey, if I'm just so happened to looking at the radio or looking off in the trees, and then by the time I look up, there's like 10 car lengths in front of me, go right ahead. That's on me. So don't waste time.
Smart.
So when you're in a race, because I've heard this term a lot, But like when you're in a race and you use, I guess it's like
the drafting and the slingshot,
wind draft. Yeah, like explain that because I'm like,
yeah, the slingshot. That's from Talladega Nights, and that's not a thing. But drafting is real, and and the slingshot term is not real. But yeah, you get a run on somebody, you pull out and you pass them. We call that, drafting up behind them and using the side draft. And it's all about aerodynamics, the way the wind is coming off the opponent's car and then how it dumps on your car. But you have to get away or it'll create the reverse effect that you just applied and then get them right back around you. So it's aerodynamics, but easiest term for people to understand is slingshot. But that's not the term we use.
And how do you do that, man, for like 4 hours?
Yeah.
Because you're saying like a race is like 2 to 4 hours. Like I'll drive for 45 minutes to go to my mom's or some shit like that. And I'll be like, whoo, I get out of the car and I'm like, yo. Oh.
The most comfortable spot to drive in is in a race car because the seats are custom tailored to you. There's foam. Nice. It's like, it's a poured insert. So every little crevice you got, little love handles I got, they all foam right around that. And it's super comfortable. So it doesn't matter if it's 130 degrees in the car. I guarantee you sit in one of those things and it's your seat, you'll be passed out taking a nap. Like during practice. During a race, obviously it's comfortable for you to drive.
During races, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that during the race. But during practice, I'll stay in the car and take a nap. 130 degrees inside the car, it's all right.
How similar is NASCAR to Mario Kart?
Take off the shells.
Yeah.
No drifting. Sure, pretty real.
Okay.
But
all right.
You can't run Mario Kart without the items and no drifting. You got to be.
You need the blue shell. You need the blue shell.
Yeah. You need the blue shell, bro. You need the red joint, the banana peels, all that.
Exactly. It's the stars.
Bubba, what advice would you give to any young kid out there that wants to get involved in NASCAR, even get started? Like what's the first thing they need to learn?
Yeah, I think
just racing, period.
I think, this sport is very tough. We talked about the ups and the downs that it will throw at you, and it teaches you a lot about life. Never let the highs get too high and the lows get too low, and always keep your head on the swivel. I was told that when I was a young coming up through the sport, and I didn't really understand it. I was like, okay, yeah, oh, there's a car coming through. Keep my head on the swivel. But now, going through all this stuff, you look out for yourself, and you got to know that you have your own back before anybody else has your back. So always stand up for yourself, always stand up for what's right. And yeah, just be mindful of everything that's going on, whether it's a car about to run you over in the garage because you're not paying attention, or if it's a tweet from the president. You got to just watch out for yourself, handle yourself, and try to represent yourself the best way possible. Hey, we're all humans. I've made mistakes. I've stepped over the line, said some things I shouldn't have, but you learn from those deals and try to come out a better person at the end of the day.
Listen, that is very good and succinct advice right there. Bubba, thank you for taking some time to talk to us.
Absolutely.
Listen,
appreciate you, man.
And keeping our record of nothing but illustrious guests going. You know what I'm saying? So in that vein, what would you like your neon sign to say? Everyone gets a neon sign. It could say a life phrase. It could be a threat. You can insult someone if you want. It could be whatever you want. What does your neon sign say?
Live to be different.
Boom. Nice, clean. I like that.
That's the name of my foundation. And hey, we're all brought in this world to be different. So live your life to the fullest in that capacity.
There you go.
Say more.
Bubba Wallace, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Make some other noise.
Keep making us proud. Keep racing for us. And listen, keep repping BLM, man. We got your back out here, man. Thank you for everything you're doing.
All day.
Absolutely. Thank you, homie. Y'all have a blessed day.